This is a Tape Deck podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to We'll Run For. This is your host, Tom, and with me, as always, are Aaron.
Hello, I'm glowing.
Yes, you are. As always, Michael.
Arg, ahoy, mateys.
Oh, my God. And Diana. All right.
I couldn't get my pirate joke up fast enough.
What's your pirate joke?
I don't have one.
This is a audible format, but if you could see us,
Which I'm going to post a story right now, so you'll be able to have reference
my
for what he's
God.
talking about.
This is the Key West episode.
I'm normal.
Yar.
Diana is wearing an eye patch. And Aaron and Michael are
In some
apparently
sci-fi movie about the burn up in the sun.
Oh, God.
man.
Yeah.
We're like
I
being
was-
Ad Astra.
Wow. Well, no.
Oh, Ad Astra. I forgot that
Are we,
movie existed.
They were space
oh,
pirates.
God.
We're already off the rails. We haven't even started.
We haven't even
Yeah.
started. There's something going on with my eye. I don't know if it's pink eye or I scratched it with one of my fake lashes or it's
Honestly,
allergies.
I think it's pink eye, and I'm blaming the dog.
And I'm just really
Yes.
sensitive to light. And
Always blame the pets.
it was easier to put an eye patch on.
Oh, God.
It's
All right,
just so
so
that I think she did this on purpose so that we could talk about it during this episode.
Well, I said that it didn't feel weird because I can barely tell I have it on, like when I was walking around the house in it, and now I'm like seeing myself in it, and it's quite jarring. It's not.
It's quite
it's
We look heavenly.
Yes.
You do.
yes, yes.
You got a halo effect going on.
Oh goodness.
I'm just writing a story that says for future reference.
Nice.
good. Good.
All right, so we got a lot going on.
A lot. So we should
yes.
probably not do what we're doing now.
No, we're going to get right into it. We're going
Let's
to
do it.
start with, hey, Michael, do we have any
Yeah.
5-star reviews?
We do have one. We have, thank you for the 5-star reviews. We have Cubs fan New Jersey, or NJ, who is Tuesday. Just like listening to Running Friends, I love listening to their podcast while on a run. They not only make me laugh, I feel like they get me, just like my running friends. I love following them on IG and Facebook. Can't wait till next episode. So thank you, Suze. I believe she's part of Runcation Nation and from New Jersey.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
Thanks, Suze.
I believe her husband went to my high school,
Oh,
which is very ironic.
yeah.
Because that's another.
I think
We
there
were
was a
just talking
discussion
about how
that in the past.
another one of our listeners went to high school with Tom.
Or same school,
Same
different time
school,
frame.
different time frame. again.
So
Di-
yeah, if you want
different
to support
era.
the show, different era.
Same thing with, I believe, me and her husband, but you know.
So if you want to support the show, of course, 5-star reviews, share on social media, all that kind of stuff. And thank you guys.
Yes. Now, a great transition, and then we will talk about our... Wait, I'm sorry. I'm all kinds of messed up. I apologize. What are we running for this week, friends? I'll go first.
Guys.
I'll go first. So this week I'm running for It's Crunch Time. Got 2 half marathons coming up, some other runs. My training is in a word,
In
inconsistent. Just I need to run several times a week with my long runs on the weekends. So I'm starting fresh. I'm gonna just reset and try to get back into a good rhythm so I'm prepared for these actual races that we have coming up.
Awesome.
I actually am going to go right off of that because my thing that I was going to say is I'm actually running for a complete reset, complete redo, complete recalibration. I don't really know. You'll hear that my race didn't go well again. I feel like this is a pattern. Even before this race, I've been kind of thinking about how even though I've added the strength training, my training's kind of like all over the place. I haven't had a plan for a long time. I think that I might actually go look up a marathon training plan and kind of, while I'm going to probably modify it, I need true consistency. So I need to reset and recalibrate because I'm not in a feeling like I'm in a really good place. And I remember what I did in the past to get to a better place. So I need to do that again and not let the last few races really mind F me as it's starting to at this point.
You got to have a short memory.
So, yeah, I think that I'm actually going to go look up a marathon training plan and I'm going to try and attempt to follow it in some consistent way.
Nice.
I love that. It's a good goal.
I've decided to do a mini run streak.
Oh. Pulling a Tom.
For my 4-week little training block to Batona.
Which I think I'm dropping.
Okay. Sounds good.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Defending champ dropping out. I am going, I need a little consistency of actual running and not just hiking and stuff. So I want to just do a little mini block to get ready for the 55. That's all.
Oh, love that. For me, I'm running for all of my goals. So we're going to get into my race recap in just a little bit, but you guys probably saw on Instagram and all my stories that I've reached one of my goals for this year. So I am running for goals and I'm going to keep that up and see what I can do with all my fall races. So that's actually a real thing to be running for.
That was awesome.
That and my Reese's pumpkins that I have sitting here.
That's the more fun one.
That's the more fun one. So yeah, goals.
Yeah, I mean,
love it.
You are a goal getter this week, just like some of the rest of our community.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And now it's time for our Will Run For Goal Getters. Congrats on making your goals, you getters.
We have Perfectly Imperfect Maria, who just got her Peloton yesterday and a flash flood warning in the area. So she did 13 miles on her treadmill as her first run on it.
Oh my
Sheesh,
God.
right? Come on.
I don't know if I've ever done more than 10 on a treadmill. And I love a
really?
treadmill.
Yeah. I mean, I've gotten some 20 milers in on treads. I don't mind it. Just watch some movies. Let's see. We got Laura Duxon, who signed up for in April for today's virtual 10K for the Guinness record. Most runners to complete a 10K today and did it. Also, the last time she was doing a double digit in kilometers outside. It's weird to see kilometers because the baby is already dancing on her bladder from the very start. Moving on. M-Row0 ran Hallucinations 100-miler last weekend.
Wow.
He got third place in 18 hours, 51 seconds, or 51 minutes and 54 seconds.
Oh, my God.
That's how he celebrated his 40th birthday. Crazy runner Michelle. She can officially say she finished her half Ironman in AC.
Awesome.
Whoop, whoop.
70.3.
Amazing.
We got Robert, who's crushing his goal of PRing a 5K under 23. He finished it in 22:34.
Wow.
Yep. He finished up a half marathon today with a PR at the Philadelphia Distance Run with a 1 hour 45 and 40 second.
Nice.
4.5 minutes faster than his previous. And now he has the Adirondack Adirondack Marathon coming up on October 3rd. No specific time goal, just want to enjoy the scenery and feel good. That seems like a good goal.
That's a good time.
Especially considering that marathon is probably pretty hilly, right?
I would assume
Adirondacks?
so if it's in the Adirondacks.
Yeah.
I'm going
Yeah.
to go with yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet October 3rd, too. I bet it's really pretty there. All the
Oh,
foliage.
God, yes.
The foliage.
Oh.
The
Just
foliage.
starting, yeah. Do you think the foliage starts that early?
Yeah,
Up there?
Yeah,
Up there,
October 3rd, I would bet
probably.
so, yeah.
Amazing.
There was a Hallmark movie on today, and it was part of Fall Harvest, and there was a leaf watching group, and they were called the Leaf Peepers, and she had a sign, and that's what I just thought about.
Oh my gosh.
Oh God.
Jessica Garan says the goal getter update on the house hunting. They found one and they bought the house. They moved
Whoop, whoop.
in about a month. She
That's
hasn't
awesome.
moved in over 15 years, and now she's moving her whole family, not just herself. Her current goal, that goal was to still be married by the time this happened, and she says it's still going great. She's still married.
Yay!
I feel like
Okay.
house buying is a great goal at this point because it's such a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Her fitness
the
goal,
market.
though, is to up her mileage and strength training for Space Coast. She says it might be a rough race, but it'll be good. The good thing there is drinks and friends on the course.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep.
That's why we're going. Anna failed at her goal of continuing to disappoint her friends for not signing up for marathon weekend, and it turns out consistency was not the key. Womp womp.
Wait, so
Wow.
did she sign up or did she not sign up? I
She
can't.
signed
No,
up
she signed up. She
Oh.
signed up because she
For
failed.
Dopey,
Yes,
right?
she failed her goal. She went from I'm not going to marathon weekend to signing up for Dopey,
Yeah.
which none of us told her she needed to sign up for Dopey. We just wanted her to come down and do a race, and then she, on her own, decided to go for Dopey. Come on,
Mm-mm.
I mean, the
Right?
medals are so good, though.
they're so pretty.
And I hear
They
they
really
give
are.
oatmeal raisin cookies out at the finish. So
That's the official cookie of Dopey, I believe.
Oh,
Yes, it
God,
is.
That's hilarious. Jennifer Cook says that her goal is to finish the Smutty Nose half on October 3rd and not feel like she's going to die. Good luck, Jess. Oh, Jennifer, that's a really good goal.
It's
a
a
good
really
goal.
good goal.
Yeah, not to die. Always a good goal. And that's all we got.
Yes, awesome. Thank you for the goal getters. Oh, as always, look out for the posts on Instagram, Facebook, and let us know your goals.
Yeah, we got a decent amount for last minute goal
yeah,
getter.
Yeah.
Look at all you guys out there killing it.
I know. We just
Like,
posted that a couple hours ago.
Like what? Diana? Diana's out there killing it.
Yes.
Oh my
with all her
gosh.
goals.
I was
Mhm.
so I didn't do what you guys did this weekend, but
Oh, stop
I felt
it.
like I was super busy.
Yeah.
Got a ton of stuff done. So I went to Orange Theory on Thursday, and they'd been advertising Dry Try for a few weeks. And because I had my kind of goal race scheduled for Sunday, I was kind of resisting. And then I don't know why I just got the urge when I was leaving on Thursday. I was like, I'm just going to sign up for the sprint, which is kind of half of the full Dry Try. So it was my first time doing it. I hadn't done it before. And what it was is a 1,000-meter row. So if you're doing the full, it was 2,000. And then you did a floor exercise. And if you were doing the full, you went through this twice. But since I was only doing the half, I only had to do it once and still wanted to die. So it was 40 bench jumps. Then it was 20 squats where you like sit down on the bench and then stand back up. And then it was 20 push-ups.
Oh, man.
And
Guys,
then it was
just because you can't see the screen, Diana actually did the motion
I
while
did
she
that.
was doing it. she
I'm
just keeps saying,
rocking-
"I did that." Like you guys can all see her, and it's hilarious to me.
And then what else did we do? We did, was it plank jacks? Push-ups,
Oh.
plank
Oh,
jacks.
Yeah.
And then you ended with 10 burpees. So you did 20 of all that other stuff and then 10 burpees at the end. So my heart rate like shot up. Like for me finishing, I finished the whole thing in like 27 minutes, and I was in red and orange for like 25 of the 27 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
And you always say you have a hard
So-
time getting your heart rate up that high.
Yeah. So it was a lot. And then you ran 1.5 miles. So I was like, well, I'm going to start to get ready for my goal today. So I ran at like a 12 for the entire time without doing kind of intervals or anything like that. So I was excited. I was the first one to finish the sprint in the class. There were 14 people there, and there were like 3 of us doing the sprint, but I'll take it. But it was so funny. One of the girls that was doing the full finished like I don't know, 6 minutes after me. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I can't even imagine like
Oh my gosh.
going that fast. But it was a really fun event. It was really challenging. After I did the one round of the floor routine, I was like, I don't know how people are going to go back and do this again. Like, do it twice.
My God.
It was a lot. So I said next time I do it, I'll do the full.
I don't think I have any desire to do that.
Were they doing that? Yeah, were they doing that at your?
Yeah,
it was,
I saw-
this
it was
weekend.
at all of them.
Yeah, I saw the results on our Orange Theories
Yeah.
Instagram page.
Yeah.
So it was a cool event. It was really supportive. There were like 2 coaches in the room, and they were like cheering everyone on, and everyone was wearing their orange, and they had pom poms, and it was awesome because the last girl that was on the treadmill, and she was a little bit slower than everybody else, but she like got out there and killed it. And then when kind of everyone had finished, they like walked out for like a few minutes, and then would get off the treadmill, and then so everyone was kind of just wandering around. Until she finished. But when she got into like her last little bit, like almost everyone got back on like the treadmill and started running it out with her. So that like,
that's cool.
I don't know, it was really cool. And like everyone was clapping and stuff. So it was cool. You got a little certificate with your time on it, and they gave you a bib, which is really cute. I actually didn't post pictures of this. I should post a picture. And the coaches like wrote stuff on the back of your bib. They were like, you can do it. Like it was, I don't know, it's really cute. It's super supportive. Yeah, I would definitely do it again. It was really hard.
It sounds like it's really hard.
It was
yeah.
like the work of a full like hour-long class in
Yeah.
half the time.
Yeah, that's why I just said that I don't think that this sounds like anything I'm super interested in
I've never
doing.
done the dry try. That's one thing I've never done.
It was $25 to do it. If anyone's wondering, or at least at mine, it was probably like $10 at yours. And then why is mine so much more money than yours?
I don't know, but it's even more like I'm really struggling to not giggle the whole time Diana's talking with her eye patch. Like I just every single time she says something semi-serious,
a pirate's life for me.
It's so embarrassing.
I'm trying to be like actually
Oh my
serious.
God. I know, and that's why I think I'm having a harder time not giggling because you're so serious right now, and you have a pirate thing on your face.
It's so good. Oh God, I'm a nightmare to be around. So it was $25. You got a water bottle, and I don't know. It was just kind of like a little goal. So also with Orange Theory, the cult of Orange Theory, there are challenges in your apps, and you get little like badges and kind of fill in the blank. So when I noticed there was that, I was like, well, I'm going to do dry try so I can get my little badge. I did dry try.
Yeah.
So I got one for the sprint. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of wish I was a little bit more prepared for it and didn't just decide on Thursday that I was going to do it. I also did it at 3 p.m. yesterday because that was the only time available. And I had lunch at like noon and still felt disgusting when I went to go do it. Like, I don't know how you guys like work out like that, like so late in the day. It just.
Yeah, I don't know. I
guess if I was more used to it, yeah.
Yeah. I can see the benefits of morning though, because then you're done with it, and you feel awake and
it kind of wakes you up
fresh afterwards. Yeah.
But like I usually don't eat before I go. I just kind of wake up and go, and I don't know. Like I felt different yesterday because it was kind of at like the end part of the day. So, but yeah, I was happy. I was happy with my time. I was happy with all that. Awesome. And then today I did the Ellicott City 5K, which I have never done before. And this was my goal race. So at the very beginning of the year, when we set our New Year's resolutions, I said that I wanted to run a 5K without stopping, and I had done it on the treadmill, and I did it today. Woo, woo. I did it today in Ellicott City. Never done the race before. This was not the right race to do it, even though I did it.
I saw you said something about wasn't it? I guess
it was
it in
really
your post that
hilly.
was hilly? Yeah,
it was hilly and it was hot. Like it was too warm. But I kept going.
So you kind of talked about like that you had signed up for a race to do this, that, and then you didn't really talk much about it. And, like I did a secret marathon the one time I wanted to PR because I didn't want any pressure. I didn't want anyone like a time out there. I didn't want like anything big deal made about it. So I didn't know whether you weren't mentioning it again because you were just trying not to like, you didn't want people to be like, good luck, or like you didn't want pressure.
Yeah, I guess kind of.
So I didn't say anything because I was pretty sure it was this weekend. And because I even think I remember thinking that September is kind of a toss up for trying to do something like that.
Yeah.
But then you didn't really say anything about it again. So I thought to myself, maybe I'm wrong about the date and maybe it's October, or maybe she just doesn't want to talk about it. So maybe I won't text her and ask her.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I mentioned it on the show, but I didn't like bring it up a bunch of times. And then you guys were doing Rock the Knob. So I don't know. I wasn't not talking about it.
Okay.
It was listed in our upcoming races from the last show notes.
Okay. Well,
You hear Ar-
yeah, I did. We hear Archie squeaking away. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it had a date associated with it. I remember seeing or us talking about it slightly, but like I said, it didn't come up a lot, so I thought maybe she didn't want pressure. So I figured I'd let it go until she had done it, and then she'd let us know when she did it.
Yeah.
And she did.
And I did it in the car on the way there. I looked at Tom and I said, well, I'm not going for a time. I'm just going for I'm not running or I'm not walking at all.
Yeah.
Even if I'm doing like the slowest run in the world, I'm not walking. But I maintained my pace pretty well, even with a ton of hills. So when I said Ellicott City, everyone was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're going to do that. So basically it was a mile and a half down and then a mile and a half back up.
Oh my God. Does that sound familiar?
Man.
Yeah. I mean,
So it's kind of what you guys
that's
did
the story
on
of the weekend.
on a much smaller scale. And I even told Tom, I was like, Tom, you should have seen me at the water stop. I didn't even like stop at the water stop. I was like Usain Bolt and I just grabbed it and ran. Like, so there was water like right at the bottom. But it was good. They don't close down all of the roads for it, which is, I guess, why they do it kind of early-ish on a Sunday morning. If they had started like an hour earlier, the temperature would have been much better.
What time did it start?
9.
Oh, that is late.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was late. But yeah, there were a ton of people there. There's a 5K and a 10K. A 10K is just 2 of the same loop. I've never really run there before. So I was flying down the hill, which got me like a ton of momentum and I felt really good. And I said, oh, this will be good for my pace because there's only a mile and a half kind of when you get back. And then even if I'm like kind of trudging up kind of slower as a run, it would be fine. But I was pretty consistent. The only time that I wasn't super consistent is when it goes like really steep going up. But then when it was kind of gradual ups, I was able to run.
Moving.
Yeah, I ran the whole time. I was so impressed. And there were times where I wanted to stop. And then I was thinking, weather's going to get me. Like, this isn't great. And I just kept saying, well, I'm just going to do like a 1/10 of a mile more. And then maybe I'll take a walk. And then like when I kept doing that, and I didn't even get to that point until after I'd done like 2.5 miles. Like, and then I felt like stupid. I was like, I'm going to go 2.5 miles and then not finish it. Like,
And then not
oh my
finish it
gosh.
off. Yeah.
And
like
all the thoughts,
like,
and all the thoughts that go through your head in like that short a span of time, like all the things that you're thinking this whole time too, right? Like when you're in a race situation like that and you're like self-talking and you're self-doubting and then you're trying to talk yourself back up from that self-doubt. And, like, it's just like this constant like conversation you're having in your head.
Yeah, 100%. And I had my headphones in, so I was kind of singing along. But it did feel good running the whole time because there were a lot of hills and even people that were in like super good shape were like stopping to like walk up the uphill parts. So I felt kind of like a badass, like kind of like
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Running through it. Yeah.
running through it. So I think that helped a little bit. And honestly, I think doing like Everest and stuff in Orange Theory like helped. Like if I
Really
hadn't
helps.
been doing any of that, I wouldn't have been able to do this. Like if I was training like I was before Orange Theory and there was a hills like that, I wouldn't have been able to run the whole time. I don't know. It's running at Everest and all that mess. So I'm super proud of myself. I'm really excited. I felt like I put the work in, and now I've got to set kind of some new goals. Although I did look at Tom and I said if I had to run another 3.1 without intervals after this, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Like I was like, I couldn't do another loop. I could have done it with intervals, done the next loop, but I don't know if I could have run.
Yeah.
I don't know if because I like came through and I was done when I came through.
You said it was hot, but I think that with a little bit more training, you could definitely make your way back up to a 10K.
Yeah, and then I'm wondering, like, because it wasn't a PR, it was a really, really good time. It was a better time than I thought, and I think it was like my fourth fastest 5K. And I'm just wondering, like, sometimes I do think, like, if you use intervals correctly, they do make you faster.
Well, you had said when you were texting with me and you said that what your PR was, I said that because I said, well, that means that when you are running, you're running fast because if you're doing a walk in there as well, and if you're doing like 1:30, say like 1 minute, 30 seconds, I mean, that 1 minute, you're putting in some pretty good efficiency. If you're walking for 30 seconds.
For me to get fat, here's my problem. My walk is so slow. Like, I don't know. I like turned into like a saunter. Like, I don't even know what to call it, how slow I walk. Like a mosey. Like, it's not, I don't know what happens.
Yeah.
So,
have you ever... Yeah.
I don't know. Anita told me that I should start walking fast on the treadmill.
That's who I was going to reference. I was going to say, have you ever done a race with Anita?
That's why I asked her. I was like, how is your walk so fast? She's like, you just walk really fast on the treadmill. And then I do it and it's worse than running. Like my whole body hurts.
Yeah.
Like
it's hard.
So I do like for a couple of like my bigger races I've been doing longer running intervals and then shorter walking intervals, which I know Jeff Galloway's all like 30-30s and all that. I'm fast and I'm so slow when I do that. I'm faster when I do like run 4 minutes, walk a minute, or like 2-in-1s or some like I think when I did Charles Street 12, I was doing like run 2 minutes, walk 30 seconds or something like that. I don't know. I play with my intervals a lot.
Yeah. Well, I know that because like we last year started training for like walk fast, and I think that when we first started, we were walking like 18-minute miles regularly, and then we started training a little bit more. And now I think that even without trying, we can get ourselves to like a 15, 30, 16-minute without thinking too much about it. And then when we're trying, we can get ourselves down into around a 15 walk. So I do think that you can train to walk faster. But I'm kind of the same. Like when I'm walking, I'm sauntering.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
I'm moseying.
And it hurts so bad. And I know, like, my friend Nikki is the same way. She's such a fast walker. And I remember we walked a 5K or something with her and just trying to keep up. Like, my hips hurt. Like, I was like, oh, my God.
Which I think is why we kind of trained for it, because I feel like walking hard is, like, kind of hard.
Yeah.
Or walking fast is kind of hard.
Yeah.
So, well, I am so proud of you.
Yeah, so am I.
I knew you could do it.
Yeah, it was good. And then
I never had a doubt.
Thanks, friends. And then I just remembered how much I just love kind of a little local 5K because I feel like we don't do those enough anymore. And like just to run, and then it's over in like 30 to 40 minutes. And then we hung out just because we weren't sure if we'd be able to get out kind of based on where we parked. And yeah, I was like, oh, this is fun. Like I forgot, like I used to do this like 2 or 3 times a month. Like
yeah. I mean, when we did even the turkey trot, we said that we went down, we walked to the turkey trot because it was in town. We walked there, we walked back, and we're like, huh,
that was nice.
It's like 9:30. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Let's have a beer. Okay.
We were on a race.
So weird.
Like, oh, it's over, and we're home. Oh, weird.
It's
cool.
nice.
Okay.
It's like your whole weekend doesn't revolve around like the event. Like it's nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because even
nice.
like a 10K, it like leaks into the rest of your day. You know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So it was nice. Cool. Well, you
Especially
guys
when
did.
you do destination ones, right? Like we did.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
going to get into that a little bit.
All right, so we're going to get into Rockin' the Knob, but to help us out, we have our friends that, I guess, commiserated with us on the mountain.
Rock the knob with us.
I'm so excited because you guys, we don't think we've ever had anyone on an actual episode.
No, this is the very
we've
first
done
time.
like inside the runner studio, but never had like anybody on. So I'm excited.
We have Greg in Orlando, who is Greg at the Doubletree in Philly currently.
Yeah, right in Pennsylvania.
Can I just tell you real quick? I forgot Greg's actual name, and when I went up to the race director went up to the timing guy, I'm like, "Can you tell me whether Greg in Orlando is still out on the race course?"
Yeah, let me just search Twitter handles. It's a field that we have on our racing tracks.
It was so funny. He's like, "You're a really bad friend." I'm like, "Thanks."
It's okay because I had to do the same thing to Erin because she doesn't have her last name on anything. And I remember we were doing something with a hotel room and I'd known her for 2 years and I had to message her. I was like, Erin, what's your last name?
Oh my God. I remembered a couple seconds
and we had
later.
like known each other for a long time.
Oh, God.
Anyway, moving on. Who else we got, Tom?
Also joining us is our friend Melanie, known as Baltimore Amorhan. Balta.
Why is it so hard for you?
More.
Why don't you pronounce it for us, Melanie?
Okay, it's Baltimore Hun. So Baltimore, but with an amour for love and Hun for a Baltimore Hun.
I think it's lovely. I think that's lovely. Thank you for joining us.
We clearly struggle with that all the time.
I don't know why.
So
funny. I don't know where to start. I guess you guys all got there before us, but we got in on Friday, and I know you guys went to a brewery, but
oh yeah, we stopped at a brewery.
Yeah.
We just had there was nothing really
we picked
exciting
Greg
there.
up at the airport and had
Drove on out.
little lunch at a another farm place. I don't really know. We were super into farms.
Founding farmers.
There you go, founding farmers.
Oh, that's cute.
Drove the rest of the way.
Yeah, to what is that? Southwestern PA or something,
Bedford,
kind of
PA.
Central Western PA-ish.
How far is that for you guys?
Too far.
4 hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 3 hours 45, I think, was the total time.
It's closer to Pittsburgh than it is Philly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
therein lies the issue.
Yep. And then we stopped at what's it called? Old Bedford Brewery.
Yeah.
Brew company, something like that.
Or New Bedford, or
I think it's Old Bedford.
is it?
I think it was Old Bedford. It doesn't matter.
we should spend a lot of time talking about that.
Very specific details.
Had a beer. Greg had a root beer. Now you all know what we drank.
Exciting.
And then we went to Horn of Plenty.
No, first we checked into the Marriott. The beds were very comfortable. We had
A nap time.
a nap.
Wow.
We did have a nap.
We were getting very
Detailed.
into there.
And then we met for
All right.
dinner.
Then we met for dinner
Yes.
at Horn O' Plenty.
It was a fun
Oh,
find.
plenty.
Yeah. Fresh farm to table kind of place.
Yeah. Greg is our resident vegetarian. So I sent him the menus beforehand, and he picked that place, and it ended up being really nice. Enjoyed it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Met our friends Melanie and Kate was there, who is not on the pod.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. She refused.
Kate is not taking interviews,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
but sends her love.
Yeah. She sends her love. She's my love.
I wanted to hear her side of Tom's story, though, so I am a little
Yes.
disappointed.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear that.
I'll have to get it from her.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
if you guys don't know, Kate's my best friend. She's my maid of honor. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, the dinner was very good. We had some good times, good food.
Yep.
Yes.
And then we all went our separate ways. Melanie, you stayed at the actual resort, right? That Rockin' the Knob is that?
Yes, we stayed at the resort that's right at the starting line for the race.
Nice.
So that was kind of cool to be able to just, be up and be right there and not have to worry about driving. So that was cool. But the beds are not very comfortable. So sorry. But your beds are not very comfortable.
Trading off convenience for discomfort.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so then that morning, the morning of, we woke up. Our start time for the marathon, which was Michael, Greg, and I, was 7 or 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, yeah.
The half marathon, which is what Melanie did,
9 o'clock.
was the 9 o'clock. And then the 10K, which Tom and Kate did, was at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And so you guys did not do what Tom and I normally do the night before a race, which is have too many beers and then just instantly regret it and then are up like, I don't know, not like obscenely later than you want to be, but long enough where it sucks. Like, you don't get back to the hotel until like 10:30 and you're like, God, we should have just been back here.
Honestly,
at 9.
I don't think Bedford has enough of a scene for that to have happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a Taco Bell in our parking lot, and I fought every urge to sneak out of the room for a chalupa.
Oh my God.
That's so
But
funny.
You're allowed out. It's not like quarantine. You don't have to sneak.
If he was by himself, he probably would have.
That's funny.
Yes, I would have.
So you guys just gave kind of an overview of Rockin' the Knob, of kind of the different race distances. Anything like, I know you guys did a full race recap last year when you guys did it. Anything that you guys like want to give like high level overview before you guys jump into your race
like what
recap
changed from last year?
to the people?
Did anything like significant change? I think it was run the same. The start was pretty similar.
Yeah, I don't really think that there was anything different other than they added an extra hill that Michael and I didn't end up having to do because
but I mean, as far as organization,
but organization wise,
start was pretty similar.
The aid stations were very similar. They were still doing mostly prepackaged food, handing things out. There was a couple places that had like Greg will talk about the pierogies. There's another station that had grilled cheese and bacon,
watermelon, oranges,
and
that kind of
stuff.
stuff. Yeah.
It was a little bit more hands-on this year than it was the previous year, but they were still definitely had, some of the pandemic mindset.
Gotcha. No, that's good.
But otherwise, I wouldn't say much else changed. Would you say anything? Melanie did the half marathon last year.
Yeah.
Any
I don't think anything really changed except for that final climb they added, but I didn't get to do that either since I didn't finish. So I didn't have to go that final climb.
Okay. So then maybe I have to look at the half marathon course because maybe I don't know the half marathon course the way I thought I did. I thought the half marathon course did the last 10K of the marathon. Which has throat,
I'm not really
hill.
sure, honestly.
I think it does.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at the course.
Yeah.
So we
Talk
arrived.
about bed pickup.
Yes, I was going to say. So we arrived. Tom and Kate came a little early to see us off for the marathon.
Nice.
We all went and picked up our bibs again. Like last year, my bib said another hill. They were all personalized and had little sayings on them. They write on every single person's bib, which I think is like a really awesome little personal touch.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
To the point where, Greg is showing his on the
What's it
screen.
Says, "Welcome to Pennsylvania, pal."
Oh, cute.
And then in the other corner,
You won this?
yes.
Ha ha ha. So I thought that was hilarious.
And mine very kindly said to not yell at the aid stations.
That's hysterical. I laughed so hard when I saw that.
So
it said like you've been warned or something.
Yeah, it said you've been warned. It said don't yell at the aid station volunteers. You've been warned. So I was remembered fondly from last year. What did yours say, Michael? Do you remember?
No idea. I don't remember actually. I probably took a picture of it, but I don't recall offhand.
That's funny.
Mine said like "Welcome, Flatlander."
Oh,
Yeah.
I think mine said the same thing. Welcome, Flatlander.
Yeah.
nice. So he looks up where you're from and information about you, and then handwrites little notes on your bib, which I thought was it's a really nice little personal
nice touch. Yeah,
I think that's fantastic. I think that's so great.
Yeah, he's a fantastic race director. So we all met. We got our bibs. They saw us off for the marathon. For the marathon part, Greg's we came up from the behind, right? We were the last few out.
Yeah. We were actually last three.
We were the last
the
three.
Sweeper was with us. Yeah.
Oh, was that the sweeper? I don't think that I realized it was the sweeper.
Yeah.
Did you guys do that on purpose?
Yeah, because it didn't really matter. Yeah, because you get to a single track, like what was it about, like a half a mile down the road, and you head into a single track. Yeah.
It's very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it bogs down pretty quick, so there's really no reason to be up people's butts because you're just all going to be in a line anyway.
And we kind of knew that where we're going to end up we knew that you could pass people like later on, but up front you knew you weren't going to make any real progress. And there's people who finished way faster, so we didn't really feel the need to. Michael and I made a comment, though, that it seemed like there was a lot of people who went out faster this year than they did last year. Like last year, there was a lot of people who kind of hung back, and we were kind of in a pack with, 10 to 15 people. This time it felt like everyone just shot out like
in the first half of the race.
Out of hell.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy.
Were there a lot more people this year?
No.
Similar, right?
Similar. There was, which we'll get into, there was a lot more DNFs this year.
I'm curious to see how many started.
Yeah. We're trying to find that
list
statistic.
the DNFs on the...
Yeah, I'm actually going to email him and try and find that out, just because I'm curious.
I think the weather could have probably contributed because the weather was
absolutely
perfect. Like it was a perfect temperature.
Well, it was not a perfect temperature
at the start.
8 a.m.
At the start, it was so maybe people were like feeling it when they went out. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was warm. It was warm for that kind of race.
Yeah.
Like last year was it was chilly and drizzly.
Cooler for sure.
So that was actually more of a perfect temperature for the race than this year was because it was cool all day.
Yeah.
Whereas the heat came on. I mean, it wasn't like 90 or anything, but it was warm out there. It was warm.
Yeah. So how was the start of the half, Melanie?
It was good. The temperature was perfect in the beginning, so I was excited because I was like, this is going to be such great weather. Last year it was so cold and it was kind of wet, so it made it hard. So I was excited for the weather this year, and then it started to warm up a bunch. And I didn't think it was affecting me all that much just because I've been running all summer in the heat, so I just didn't think, I was like, 80 is not going to be that bad. But it made a difference. I think the combination of that with those climbs, it's just tough. It's tough. Yeah. But the start was good. The start was very good.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you, was it generally the same as the rest of the marathon goes off? And everything?
I think so. I mean, everything was pretty much the same as last year. The route was the same, that single track that you kind of get into with it's pretty rough terrain right there. It's a rock scramble kind of. So we got into that and that was good, but it was a beautiful start to a race.
Any comments about your start, Tom?
Other than immediately, once we got off the gravel road into the woods, my anxiety shot through the roof. It was, and I mean, we had some time to think about it, but
yes,
it's such I love using this word, like a juxtaposition of feelings because it's so calm and peaceful and serene out there. And when we were getting ready to start, I saw some guys put in their headphones and I'm like, I can't imagine doing this kind of thing with headphones, but
it's strongly discouraged.
It's so peaceful and you just want to pick your head up and look around and take in the nature, right?
Did you do that?
Yes.
No, I stared at my feet for 3.5 hours because I was terrified from the beginning.
Sounds right.
And we essentially were tiptoeing the entire time. We were, and this is no shade on Kate or I, and we do not feel shame by any means. We were 100% the last two people that finished that 10K. There was a guy, and this is no shade at him, but he had one leg. He had a prosthetic, and he blew us out of the water.
Here's another thing, and I noticed this in your stories yesterday. You guys were at an aid station, and
I picked this up too.
there were people talking behind you and Kate, and they said, "Well, everyone who's done the 10K has got to be finished by now."
Yeah.
And they were behind you, like they were.
Greg pointed that out when I posted the story because I didn't notice it. I didn't notice
I
it.
didn't even pick up on that. We kind of
Because
knew
I had
that.
the headphones in, and yeah, basically she's saying all the 10Kers are through this aid station because they were aid station workers.
As you were there
So-
taking your shot of Fireball.
Fine. Like, and honestly, like
No.
we never did this for time. We only did this to finish unharmed.
Yeah.
That was it, without injury.
That's smart.
I'm just so impressed, and him talking about staring at his feet doesn't surprise me at all. Because if you guys ever do like any type of, honestly, like a road race with Tom, he yells at you the entire time about your feet and staying away from the curb. It's like it's annoying. Is honestly what it is. It's just he's like, get away from the curb.
I'm
What are
telling
you
you.
doing?
Well-
Watch your feet. There's a hole there. Like it's like
It's true.
the whole time.
Tom, since we're kind of already on you, why don't you go ahead and tell us how your race was? We saw the stories a little bit.
It was great. It was the tale of two halves.
Well, they all are. Yeah.
Because the first 3+ miles are a gradual downhill. Some downhills were a lot steeper, a lot of loose gravel.
Yeah.
Like when you're in the woods,
Yes.
like there's little pockets of like flat ground, but mostly it's jagged rocks, loose, jagged, flat rocks. Like nothing is just solid. Everything kind of wobbles.
It's not like a trail at all.
Yeah.
It is
No.
a trail.
It's a
If you have
trail.
like a bicycle, but this is not a trail that had been patted down by years of use. Like
No.
No, he takes you on the path less traveled for sure through that park. So the 10K loop, you start out on that road and then you go into the woods, and that patch of woods that's kind of flat before you go downhill. That's where you're talking about. If I remember, because we didn't do it this year, that's where like there's a lot of big rocks, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you get
And
to
then-
the
and then
fire
you get
road
on
that's
the
all
fire
gravel.
Yeah.
And the fire road, and then the fire roads can get pretty steep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're steep with loose, chunky
big
rocks.
chunky rocks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That are yeah.
So honestly, I was scooting, like, you know, you're shuffling your feet. Like I wasn't taking big long steps. Are you out of your mind? Like
Yeah.
I was kind of shuffle walking the entire time, but we were making pretty good pace and we felt really good. And again, it's peaceful and we were talking. And like every time I would look up, I'd get scared and I'd look back down again. Like,
Yeah.
we did that. And the craziest thing about trail running is there is a level of quiet, but it's so quiet that you cannot tell when someone's going to come up on you, because like a runner would come up on us like 20 feet away and we would have no idea until he's like right up on us. It was so crazy. But okay, so first half made it down. The downhills really started to cramp up Kate's feet.
Oh yeah.
Because you're tense.
Yeah.
You're tensed up the entire
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure if you're running,
Toes.
well, I'm sure if you're
Yeah.
running, you're kind of looser and you're not clenching as much. But like, man, I don't know. We get to the aid station. Apparently, everybody had already passed us. For posterity, they had some Fireball. I took a shot of Fireball. We
Yeah.
had some watermelon.
I
We got
hate
some
Fireball.
Gatorade. And then Throat Punch Hill.
Yeah, you guys are in like really good spirits at that aid station.
Holy
You guys
Yeah,
are
they
like
hadn't- they hadn't turned yet.
smiling and
Holy
yeah.
hell. Because okay, so immediately you go, well, I think there's kind of like an up and down, and you kind of go over a little creek, but then you hit that hill, which is, I don't even know, like are you guys engineers? What's the grade on Throat Punch Hill?
it's
Because
like
it was
40
straight up.
40%.
Said it was
Yeah,
40
I think
something.
they said it was 40.
Yeah, it's over
No
40.
one's running up that hill.
Oh
Like,
no.
Impossible.
Well, and then we kind of got a little friend that joined our merry duo, turned it into a trio. He was a sweeper. But since we're doing the 10K, we have all day long. So he was like, I'm just the sweeper to make sure you guys don't die. So he was just kind of like hanging out like 50 feet behind us,
Oh my god.
running back and forth. He was the nicest guy in the world. But like, okay, so we climbed this hill. It took us forever. Our hearts are beating out of our chest. Kate wants to vomit. I want to die. But there's no negativity. We're just encouraging each other, and we're taking it at a snail's pace. Like if I looked at the splits, this probably it took us a long time. So we get up and out of throat punch, and then now we're kind of just going uphill. Uphill on fire roads, uphill on some switchbacks, loose gravel, more of the same rock kind of stuff. We passed by the Cadillac, which I thought was
I love that Cadillac.
like there's a random Cadillac just in the woods up on some rocks, and it has a sign that says Cadillac parking.
I like that
something.
he put the race flags on the Cadillac
On it.
itself.
That was where he
like
secured
acknowledging
the
that
flags
he's
so that we knew it was on the trail.
It was funny. Like when I was looking at Tom's photos, I was like, I don't understand. How do you know where to go? That's so dumb. I don't know what to do
I will
at all.
tell you, hats
Super well
off to
marked.
them
Yeah.
because
Marking was-
they marked the hell out of that course.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
there was
Yeah.
never a question on where's the net because there's pink ribbons. You kept it on
Mhm.
your right. That's it. If
That's
you saw
it.
more than one ribbon on a tree, that means a turn or something was about to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was very easy to follow. And it was like, yeah, I mean they did a really good job marking the course. So up. This guy is following us. We passed some hikers coming the other way down the hill, these two women. And they're like,
Yeah, I
you
think I
guys
saw
are doing
that.
so great. And we're like, oh my God. And it's about, okay, so mile 4.5, kind of close to mile 5. The half marathoner started to catch us,
Hmm.
which is
Ooh. What's that
understandable.
like?
They just, the nicest people in the world, floating effortlessly past us. I honestly do not know how they navigate this terrain so quickly and so spry on their feet, because the only thing I can think of is, let me make a reference for the older people in the group. You know the movie Short Circuit with the incomparable
Yeah.
Steve Guttenberg? It's about the robot who comes alive.
Yeah.
And he wants data.
Johnny Five.
Do you remember when Johnny Five is reading books and it's just like his head shaking from side to side and his eyes are darting back and forth? Like that's what's going on in my head for every single rock that's on the ground. But like the trail runners
that.
are flying by us, head up, looking
Head up.
straight, not looking down. I'm like, do you not care? Like your ankles are susceptible to all of this carnage. Like what is going to happen? It's crazy. Anyways, we passed the ladies. We get past a couple times, and then we hit another like damn near climb straight up, straight up. And me and Kate were like, "All right." And this was hands and knees climbing. Like,
Yeah.
it was crazy. But then we get into like Fern Gully, and it's again a
Oh.
treacherous kind of Fern Gully.
Yeah.
We hit 6.2 miles. We go another half mile, and then we come out of a clearing, make a left. You can start to hear the finish. We, turn the finish. Everyone, like all the beer had been drank. Like,
No.
I'm kidding. But we turn, we see the finish, and we just trot our way to the finish. Ankles intact. We were very happy to see it. What was funny is for the first half, when we're going down and we're making good time and we're like gaining more confidence and we're like, okay, this is okay. We were both mentally signing up for the half marathon immediately.
Yeah.
And how's that feeling now?
and
Once,
then
once we hit Throat Punch Hill, we were screaming at each other that absolutely not.
That's so fun. So you guys were coming down the hill like, oh, it's not that bad. So next year we should do this and do the half.
Kate was like, I don't know what you want to just do it. You want to just sign up? And I'm like, yeah, why not? Oh my God.
So On
it
the
was a great experience.
on the map, it is called actually Cadillac Alley. So apparently he did know that there was Cadillac there. And then the second one, because we talked about Throat Punch, the second one is called Soul Sucker Slopes. Did it suck your soul, Tom?
Yes, it did.
Oh, that's accurate.
That's accurate.
And then the last little part of it is the Not Far Away.
It was terrible. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Like, we're all in this together, and I'm not taking anything away from me and Kate. Like, we were very happy, but we did take our sweet time. We were averaging 30-minute miles. So, like, yeah, like, hats off to you guys, because I know you guys didn't have some of the greatest experiences, but, like, man, I cannot imagine adding that much more distance to that kind of activity. Like, I would have died on that mountain had I tried the half. Or like,
I don't know. I still feel
Just-
like I said this
You
to
did
you.
the most difficult part.
That is the most difficult part.
And I said to you that I think that if you trained a little bit, you could do the half. Because if
Yeah.
you're able to do that, the half marathon is only like another 1,000 feet of elevation. So it's not like you do a lot of the elevation, because that is some of the
You did
that is
1,500 feet
the
of it.
two of the toughest hills.
Yeah,
So
or
the
what
fact
you
that
did.
you could do that, if you were to able to add even one more of those, I think you could do the half.
well,
Yeah.
I will say, past Throat Punch and the other like where you climb, those long, gradual, and then
Yeah.
steep fire roads.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the most treacherous part,
Yeah.
because you're stabilizing, you're tense the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was an experience. I could probably be talked into it again.
I feel like that's gonna happen, because I feel like we're gonna want revenge.
A redo.
Melanie, are you looking for revenge next year?
Absolutely, yes, I am.
See?
It's funny because, even DNFing it and feeling so awful, never once did I feel like I'm not coming back next year. I don't ever want to do this. I was like, I'll just be back next year and it'll be better next time. It's fine. But this year was a tough one. It was a heartbreaker. So
Yeah. What? Let's get into a little bit of your race experience.
So I was super excited this year because the weather was going to be so nice. I finished it last year and I just thought, I'll go back this year. I really wanted to do the full marathon, but I just had some blocks in my training with some stomach issues. And so I just couldn't train hard enough to actually be able to compete in the marathon and finish it. So I said, I'll just go back this year, do the half marathon, and I'll just PR my time from last year because I know what I'm getting into. I've done a lot of strength training this year, and I've just focused a lot on what I need to do to do well at this race. And I was excited the morning of. I wasn't nervous at all. I felt really good. The first 3 miles were great. It was beautiful. I was running really well. I was passing people. I felt really, really good. And then the stomach pain started at mile 3. And it wasn't stomach pain that I could run through. It was like the kind that bowls you over to where you can't even keep walking. You're just and I thought I was going to have to pull out then. I was like, once I get to the first aid station, if this keeps up, I can't run through it. I'm just going to have to pull out and be done. But luckily, it kind of resolved itself, and so that went away, and I was fine. So I kept going, and I got probably to mile 5 or 6, and the nausea hit me like a ton of bricks. I think it was probably after the first big climb. So Throat Punch Hill, I think, is the first really, really big one with a 40% grade to it, and it's just rough. So when I got to the top of that one, I started just feeling so nauseous. Got to, I think, the second aid station. I wasn't feeling great. I tried to have some Gatorade. I had some Tums, and nothing was really settling my stomach. And then I kept going. I was like, I think I'm going to be fine. And I started dry heaving. And I think when I started dry heaving was when I was like, okay, I think it's game over at this point. I'm in a lot of pain. I was moving so slow. Couldn't even run anymore at that point. I was just miserable. So when I got to the very last aid station, I thought, I'm just going to hang here for a while. There's no way I'm PRing this thing. I'm already at, 3 hours and 50 minutes, I think, and I still have 2.5 miles left to go. So I thought I'll just sit here. I'll try to drink something, eat something, see if I don't feel any better. And it just wasn't happening. My legs were like jello and everything just felt awful. So I just decided the best thing to do was call it. I was looking at that last climb and I was like, there's just no way I'm going to make it out of here and be able to finish this thing. So it was sad, but I had to do the wise thing and just call it and get driven back down to the start. So, but
I think when you know what lies ahead of you,
it helps you make a decision.
It helps you make a decision. Yeah. Because I think that in the experience that we had, I would say the same thing. Like, you know what that next thing is and how difficult it is. So if you're not feeling good and you know time wise that you're not in the place you want to be, you know, it helped to be able to be like a conscious decision. Like, this is not going to work for me today.
Right.
So,
and it's a hard one to make too, because, you know, when that's your main race for the year and you've trained for it and worked for it, and it's heartbreaking. But I think with Rockin' the Knob, because it's such a tough race, you're not even looking at, 2.5 more miles. You're looking at 45 more minutes to an hour to get through that 2.5, because you're barely running. And I knew I was in trouble when it would break out into the flats. Like, we would get done with a climb and I couldn't even bring myself to run, because I was like, I'm going to throw up if I keep trying to do this.
Oh, no.
I was just like, this is going to be a walk from here to the end. So if I finish it, I'll be surprised. But it got to be too much. So had to call it. But next year will be better.
Yep.
What you going for?
I think I realized yesterday, even just when I was doing the half, I have no business being out there for the marathon yet. Not even a year from now. I'm just not ready for it. I don't think I even want it yet. I think I'm just I'm good with the half marathon for that. It is a really, really, really tough race. So I think I just want to go back and do the half marathon, keep it fun. And, maybe one of these days I'll re-sign up for the marathon there, but it would be my first marathon ever. So I don't know that needs to be my first one. It's a really tough way to go.
People did it.
A little easier for my first time around, with the marathon. So
we did hear a couple people.
I know of two.
Yeah, we did hear a couple people say that it was their first marathon, and
that's a hell
one
of
girl,
a,
the girl who had the white jacket tied around her. I saw her finish when Greg and I went to the finish line, and she had said it was her first marathon. I was like, oh my gosh, girl,
that's amazing.
Talk about picking up a really hard race for your first.
Just to give everybody context, it's not a half or a full that you like. Yes, some people go in with times or whatever. It's a half or a full you go in to finish.
Yeah,
it's not unless you're really, really experienced and a really good trail runner. You're not going in in a really good mountain trail runner. You're
so
not
it's like
going
the challenge is the course, not the distance.
Yeah. You're not. Unless you're really proficient on hard trails and real good at climbing, you're not getting a great time.
Yeah.
This is about finishing and persevering.
At least for mortal people. There are some immortal people that finished it in 4 hours and 11 minutes last year. This year's course was 4:40, I think. Yeah. And I think that has to do with some of the heat, because we were comparing last year's finish times to this year's finish times a little when we were with Greg actually a little earlier today, giving him the Grand Tour of Philadelphia. So you could see where the heat definitely changed the game even for the marathon. And since I want to end on a high note, let's recap us.
Well, we can recap the first. What did we run together? 10 miles, something like that.
No, not even close.
Was it 8?
No, because 8 is up to where it. Because we ran a lot of the runnables without Greg.
Oh, okay.
Greg went and took off after mile 3 on us.
Yeah. That's pretty much the first runnable downhill. I was feeling strong on the downhills, and so I think the last time I saw you guys
was mile
was
3.
that first runnable downhill.
Well, my day started off
fake aid station where it's not an aid station yet.
Yeah, it's not quite an aid station opened up yet.
Yeah, I think that it was around mile 3, because the first real aid station's at mile 5.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
And we didn't see him after. So at that aid station or anything, he was already gone.
Well, anyway, so the start of our race, pretty much all week, I felt like I had to throw up all week. So that was a great start. Went into the race, and the first like 10 miles felt like I had to puke every step.
Oh my God. Did you do like...
So I don't know.
I just, why? Like,
I don't know. Because last...
Just like if I didn't feel well like all week, like, and I was sick to my stomach. I mean, were you just like popping Imodium? Like they were
he really was.
I did actually. We talked about it.
He actually took the drinkable stuff, which was disgusting.
Drank it in the morning.
Disgusting.
Yeah. I thought he was going to throw up in the car.
Yeah, I almost did drinking it.
On Wednesday, I didn't. My stomach was off. I like, it is what it is. This is a running podcast. I had to poop a bunch. My stomach wasn't great. It is what it is. Come on. I don't know whether it was like a
vegetarian diet is betraying.
I don't know. I don't know whether. No, I was eating meat. It's fine. I don't know. I don't know if I didn't know if it was like a touch of a stomach virus. I didn't know if it was a touch of something I had eaten. There was no real way of knowing. And so then so my stomach was off most of the week. Friday, it felt better and I ate like normal. So I thought it was fine. But I sort of had some stomach issues as well during the race. For me, at mile 2, I looked down and my heart rate was at 183 and I knew I was in trouble. I kept moving and saying, because I even said to him, like, my legs don't feel like my heart rate's at 183, but I could feel everything like I was hot, like that when you're at beating that quickly. I was getting that hot, cold feeling. I wasn't breathing properly because your heart rate's so high.
Well, you also couldn't breathe out of your nose.
My allergies. My allergies were bothering me. I don't know whether the congestion and the post-nasal drip was also part of what was causing both of us. And our allergies this past week have been really, really bad.
Horrendous, yeah.
So I don't know whether that was part of it because, when you get a post-nasal drip, it can make you a little nauseous.
I have that problem every fall.
Yeah.
And it's what took me out of Batona 2 years ago, and it killed my stomach because this time there's something, whatever allergens are this time of year, it causes the post-nasal drip, and then I end up with a stomach issue, which is pretty much what the issue was for me this week.
Yeah.
And during the race, honestly.
Yeah, so I think his was definitely related to that. I don't know for sure. I don't know what was going on with my heart rate. I don't want to get too into it, but looking at last year's heart rate difference, I think I sent it to Diana.
Yeah, you sent it to me. I was like, are you dead?
Yeah. It was like 4 hours spent 4.5 hours spent in the orange and red zone compared to last year where I spent 1 hour of the whole 8 hours in the red zone. So like, it just tells you my body was telling me something was not right.
Yeah.
And I probably should have listened to it way sooner than I did. But instead, I went to mile 18 and went up the longest, hardest hill. That's like a mile.
Well, it's not the hardest hill, but it's the longest hill.
Well, it's the longest hill. It's 1.3. It's the 1.3 mile uphill climb.
Yeah.
So it's the longest climb on the race at mile like 16, 17. And I just knew when I started going up that there was no continuing. I wasn't going to make the time limit. I wasn't going to get any faster. I was going at it like a 36-minute mile. There was no way I was making the time. And I turned to him and I said, if you can go faster than this, go. Like, just leave. Because if you think you can make it, I'm telling you right now, I am not making it.
I like how often "Leave Me for Dead" comes up in these kind of races.
Seems to be a theme.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we were for me, the first 10 or so are relatively easy in the marathon. Not easy, but relative to the course. There's no.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, there's no giant climbs. There's a lot of runnable area. There's a lot of runnable trail. You do hit some tough sections, but like normal trail race tough sections, not crazy tough sections.
And it's not even like the trails that Tom talks about, right? Where it's ankle turning. Like there's a lot of the beginning is truly runnable.
Yeah. But like I thought I was running real well there, even though I felt like I had to throw up every single step of the way.
Oh my God.
I was my legs felt good, but my stomach just didn't feel good. So every bounce was terrible. But I did have, like, whatever the first aid station was, I had some ginger ale and some water. But I realize now, looking back at that first aid station, I drank almost a whole bottle of water. So I must have been somewhat dehydrated coming in just from the stomach issues all
That's
week.
because it was all coming out of your butt.
Well, no, I didn't even have that issue. I didn't have that issue, but maybe I wasn't properly hydrating because my stomach bothering me. I wasn't drinking fluids properly.
I just don't understand. Like, if I woke up and I was like more than, oh my gosh, I haven't had my PRP, so now I'm a little nervous before we get going. Like, but if I woke up and I was like, it's not right, like my stomach is not right, my fear of what would happen on that course would prevent me from starting altogether.
Well, I figured the worst that would happen is I would just throw up and then I would refuel and keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. That's weird to me too. I'm not gonna lie. I felt fine starting at the race. Like, he was like, I don't feel good.
Weirdly, though, I felt better at the end, stomach wise, just not everything else.
I felt fine starting the race. It wasn't until, and even with my heart rate up that high, I still felt good up until like mile 10, and then I knew all of that time in that zone was then starting to affect me, and then I started getting nauseous, and then I started getting dizzy because I had been running too hard for too long and I couldn't keep up anymore.
I think it also got real hot at that point in the day.
Yeah,
it felt like the temperature jumped pretty quick at some point.
Mm-hmm.
When you left the shade of the trees.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And there were some of the valleys that you went up, or some of the gullies you went up, or whatever, where you didn't get a breeze, and it was kind of humid in there and hot because of the wetness of it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a really humid day or anything, but you're in this like really dense forest, and it can get pretty humid in there. But yeah, I don't know. I was like, looking back on it, I thought the running part was good, but I really wasn't running good when I went back and looked at it. And whatever stomach issues I was having were causing me not to hydrate properly. So I started drinking ginger ale at the aid stations and eating. I mean, I was fueling and stuff the whole time. So, like, I was eating. I was forcing myself to eat. And I was just hoping at some point I would throw up so I would feel better, but it didn't happen. But
yeah, we had the opposite thing. I didn't feel well at all. I didn't feel like I could eat anything. Everything I tried to eat didn't make me feel good. And then once I started getting a little dizzy and nauseous, like, I ate some watermelon thinking some sugar would help, and that made it even worse. So I just, I went into the race feeling fine, and then ended up not feeling fine.
Deteriorating. When you guys started, the three of you guys, did you have any conversations like the night before or the day before, anything like that? Was the plan to stay together and run it together, or was it never?
No.
First of all, I thought Greg was going to kill it out there and run way faster than we could. His fitness level is definitely higher than mine, in the fact that he does a ton of cross training. He runs a lot more miles just because he has of his schedule. He is able to fit in a lot more of those longer runs. So he does a lot of weekday long runs too. So I had no doubt that Greg was going to kill it out there. So I kind of felt like Greg was going to take off from us at some point. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. We were going to run it together just because we weren't really going for a time. We were going to finish it and hope that we bettered last year. But with those kind of races, it's always conditions. So, like, we don't go in going like, oh, yeah, we're going to kill what we did last year, because we know, like, literally anything can happen out there. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, and we also aren't like, I don't feel like, I feel like if I'm having a really bad day or he's having a really bad day, neither of us would ever be like, oh, don't move on. Because I mean, I said to him a few times, like, just if you feel, I knew he didn't feel good, because like every few miles he would be like, he would stop for a few seconds and be like, I'm just trying not to vomit. I'm like, what is happening, and why are we still doing this?
The climbs were rough with the nausea, but eventually that actually kind of subsided for me after the ginger ales and things like that, weirdly. I don't know why. But anyway, so we got to about mile 15, and this is where, like, I didn't realize how much time we had lost in the beginning going slower than we did last year. And then I looked at my watch and I'm like, man, we're at like 5 hours. I'm like, there is no way we're making the cutoff. We may make it to mile 20, but that's it. Like, there's no chance we're going to be able to go on because the cutoff time.
In the end, we didn't make the cutoff because we started moving much slower because we knew that there was probably no way we were making it anyway. So we technically got swept from the course, and we were totally fine with that. Except for the fact that they took my bib, which really made me sad because it says, "Don't be mean to the aid station people."
Oh, so you had to sacrifice your bib?
I had to sacrifice my bib. Yeah, they took our bibs when we DNF'd at that aid station.
If that's really making you sad, I'll remind you every time we see each other how rude you were to that one volunteer that was on the course. I'm fine with just letting you know that happened.
So then we DNF'd. We got to the aid station at mile 18-ish, and
you saw Tom.
They had some bacon.
Well, we were sitting down next to the road,
and I was petting a dog, and that made me really happy because if I'm going to DNF, then I want to pet a dog. So I was petting a dog, and all of a sudden, here comes this black car down the road, and the windows roll down like, "Hey." Like, huh? And it's Tom and Kate.
And we got a ride, ride back to the start. Yeah.
We were waiting for a ride from the aid station people.
But we didn't have to wait.
But we didn't have to wait because here came Tom and Kate having finished their 10K and on their way out.
Now, you could actually, there was 2 people in front of us that had their bibs taken that continued on. The one guy didn't get to mile 20.
It was like 2 hours later.
Over 2 hours later.
Yeah, it was over 2 hours later. It's a
2.5 hours later.
2.5 miles from that aid station to the 20.5 mile, which is the end of where the finish line is. It took him 2.5 hours.
Why?
Because he decided he wanted to tough
he wanted
it
to
out.
Get to that point.
And at that point, Greg can take it from there where the ski slope, the new hill that we didn't actually even get to see, the ski slope was.
So I'll rewind a bit, just to kind of give context to my mindset. This was not a planned race, and I have Chicago Marathon in 3 weeks. That is my goal race, and so this came, and it's 3 weeks out. And on my marathon plan, this would have been peak week, 20 miles, but nothing like this. So let's do it. But I'll just run it. I'll run it conservatively. You have 9 hours, which sounds like a lot. Like you've got all the time in the world, and you don't. But as those climbs get tougher, and especially as we get into that ski slope section, which is, first off, very bizarre. If you've never been to a ski resort,
it's an actual ski slope. It's
it's like literally where
it's essentially a ski slope in the summer, right?
Yeah.
So you've got all the equipment, so it's very horror movie-esque.
Nice.
If you like abandoned theme parks, this might be your jam. And that was the first kind of demoralizing to the rest of the crew around me, was that hill. It's just it's relentless. It's not like the later hills where you're hands and kneesing it, but it is very tough, especially at the mileage it is at. But so the entire race, my goal is just to moderate my ambitions that might creep up during a race. You see someone else going and you think, oh, I should catch them, or oh, I'm feeling really, really good, I should run this quickly. So really it was all about tapering.
And being more in control, it sounds like.
And being very in control, which
also
sounded like Aaron and Michael's plan. But we started we were the very last ones at the start, and I only on paper passed 7 people.
Wow.
I don't know how many of those. I know of at least at least 5 people that but it was probably much higher.
Yeah, well, when we came in the mile 14 aid station, they said that they were waiting for 6 more people, and those people never came. or past us. So we know for sure that there was at least 6 behind us.
So
We know the 2 that did pass us.
DNF.
At least 2, right? Yeah, the girl who came in,
was
she was
more
very
like-
upset.
Yeah, more like 4.
Yeah. So there was a
And there could have been earlier people that DNF too that just couldn't handle it.
Oh yeah, the guy with the beard. Also, he DNF'd. Yeah, we saw a lot of DNFs.
Yeah, I had a marathon DNF riding in the car with me back to the start line.
Okay.
And he said this is his 5th year running it, and it's the first time he ever DNF'd it.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
it was a tough one this year for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do have to realize that there's not a lot of points where you can just quit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like every mile you can just step off the road and call an Uber.
But I think, Greg, to that point, like, you got to know that kind of thing going into something like this. Like,
absolutely.
I think about any road race, and it's just much more accessible to get help.
Yeah.
And that's what the guy. So me and Kate, by the time we started, we could have recited the race director's spiel because we've heard it. This is the 3rd time we've heard it, and basically he's like, if you get hurt, try to get to the next aid station. Like you got to kind of know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
And just the whole situation if you're going to attempt something like this.
A race like this, you have to be aware that you may be like there may be an aid station a mile away, but it may be a mile away and an 800-foot climb, and you may be in an area where somebody's not going to be able to get you out. You're going to have to get out. Like
absolutely not. Like this, I don't. You guys are insane.
Like if you rolled an ankle, you broke an ankle, you couldn't physically walk. Like somebody is going to come
take
along.
some time.
Somebody will come along and get you to a fire road, and then somebody could get a vehicle to you. But it's gonna be tough. It's going to take some effort on your part.
I just die on a rock out there.
You would. I swear to God.
Pirate boat. I'll have my eye patch on it still.
All right, Greg.
Area like that too, because it's such tough terrain that you have to keep in mind what you're doing to the race volunteers and the race director by not just calling it. You know what I mean? Like you keep going, and then they have to try to send people out to somehow get you off that trail. It's not easy for them. That is tough terrain up in those mountains. So it's just you have to be kind to yourself and kind to the people that are putting this race on for you, and just make good decisions about whether or not you can keep going.
It's a great point.
Talk to people on the trail.
Yeah.
Get to know them. At least get a name, where you're from.
That's
be
great
conversational if you're solo, because you never know.
Yeah, and help people, if you run into
absolutely.
People that are hurt, don't just be like, well, sorry for you. I guess we'll see if you make it out of here alive. I mean, you have to be a little bit selfless when it comes to these trail races, and you can't just think about yourself and your time. You really have to think about other people. I mean, I had someone next to me fall, and she fell hard, but luckily there were a couple of us that were right around her that could kind of help her and get her up. But you have to be kind to everybody when you're trail racing, because it's dangerous out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Did she have tape on her shoulders?
I don't know. She was a little bit of an older woman. She was in the full marathon, and she fell, and she fell hard. So, but I don't remember exactly what she looked like.
Me and Kate met a lady at the finish who was telling everybody that would listen that she went down hard right on her face.
Oh, God.
But I remember she had like KT tape like on her arms up near her shoulders. It was an interesting interaction, but like she was like, "Man, I went down hard right on my face."
Excited about it.
Well, you're here now, so okay.
Oh man. I mean, it's a dangerous spot. I mean, you could trip and fall 400 feet down a hill,
Yeah.
Like there's spots where the trail is leaning to the right, and you trip, you're just going, there's no stopping you, So it's really,
that was
you have
another
to be
spot
aware.
where I knew I was in trouble, because I was moving so slowly and I was in so much pain that I was like getting that kind of delirium that you get when you're wobbling back and forth.
Yep.
I almost fell, and I was like, if you would have fallen off of that, that would have not been a good situation. I'm like, you got to get yourself out.
That was part of the reason we called, because we were both wobbly going up the one climb, and it's like you're crossing rocks over those streams, like they're bridges made of slate or whatever, or granite or whatever it is. I don't know, whatever, Pennsylvania bluestone.
Yeah, it's bluestone.
And it's mossy and it's slippery.
Yes.
And you're kind of wobbly, and it's like, this is not a good situation.
I have a black toenail, a blackening toenail right now because was so wobbly that I like tripped and stubbed my toe on a rock because I was wobbly. And I think that's one of the times I said to him, I can't keep going. Like I can't, like I'm not, my footing's not good enough for me to keep going.
Well, I wasn't going to push to keep going because I wasn't comfortable with how I was climbing hills. Like Melanie said, I was wobbly. Like I had that like trail haze, where you're not quite fully there. And I'm like, this is not the kind of race where you can have that. It's not. Yeah. It's just not.
All right. Greg, do you want to?
Sure. So leaving the ski slope area, there's a very humorous sign that basically says, are you an expert? You better be. Because the trails up ahead are very, very serious injury and death.
Injury or death.
Part of that, part of the sign, I assume, is this is a ski resort, right? So snow, but they're still true. Like the trails from that point were very steep, very loose, kind of dirt. I did slip in the sense of you're already leaning back, you're going to end up on your butt. And I think if I remember from social, that was a troublesome section for you guys last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people were doing the same thing, except last year it was worse because
it was wet.
Slick and muddy. So I made it to mile 20, also known as Quitter's Row. And the time on the clock said about 5:55. The aid station attendant there said, keep in mind the race does not finish in a valley.
For some quick perspective, Greg did the first 20 miles in 5 hours 58 minutes, and then it took you over almost 2.5 hours to do the last 6.
2.5 hours.
Almost 2.5 to do the last 6.
Yeah.
Just for some perspective on how difficult the back half of that marathon is.
And that's all Tom and Kate did.
And that's all they did.
That's all that they did.
You're welcome.
See? Look at you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look at the elevation profile, the first 2 and some change of that going down is gradual-ish. Mm-hmm. And then it just jumps off a cliff. The fire road just tanks down, and all of that is just broken boulders. And I swear I felt like I was going to cause some Pennsylvania avalanche. You get down to Throat Punch Hill aid station, some of the most energetic of any of the aid stations, and then you start that massive climb out of that aid station, and you climb and climb. You have a gradual climb, steep climb, cliff climb, and then repeat for Throat Punch and Soul Sucker. And then the race director has the kindness of taking you on the path inside the woods about 2-3 feet from a perfectly fine paved road.
Yes. I didn't appreciate that.
The best paved road around. And here you are on a bit that you cannot run on. Every time you think you can run, in 3 steps you wouldn't be able to. So you end up just meandering through the woods thinking, wouldn't it be nice? I am running with Dina as I had for most of the race, finishing it out. I turned that corner. It's 8 hours and 20 minutes after starting. And in the back of my head for the last couple of miles, I'm like, man, I'm really slowing down, and I haven't seen Aaron or Michael. So surprise of all surprise, Aaron and Michael are at the finish, and Aaron is running and filming me.
I was gonna say, like, what did you think when you came over and then you just heard her scream? Because I heard it on video.
I mean, you might have heard it from home.
Yeah.
Are you saying I'm loud? I'm confused.
Not only are they here, which means they didn't finish, Aaron is in enough of a good shape to yell and run at pace while filming me through the finish line. And so you go, okay, so they finished, but they must feel great.
You got a second win.
Because I don't know how long it had been.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen them since very early on in the race. So,
yeah, but I mean, the fact that I was running just real quick shows you that my legs were actually not that bad. It was everything else that was off. But I was able to continue moving, and I did. I ran Greg into the finish in my UFOs and a camera.
In UFOs.
Yep. And that is the glorious tales of
Rocking the Knob.
Rocking the Knob, Blue Knob.
And you put in 10 miles today, so you're feeling great.
Yeah, and we walked around Philly for 10 miles. Yeah, so I definitely would like to go back.
He said yesterday that he is not going to do it again.
I said I was going to do the half.
Yeah, he said I don't ever want to do the full again. And then today he's like, I think I want revenge. I'm like, what? Like, you can't, stop.
I think it depends on what else I'm doing on the race calendar, how it fits in.
Yeah,
you can't just throw this on. I guess you can, because I did. But smartly, you shouldn't just tackle this race.
Yeah. You really have to focus
in the middle of
on
everything else.
Yeah, Greg, if your fitness level wasn't where it was, like, do you think you would have been able to do it? Like, if you were just training for a regular marathon and not doing all the cross training you had been doing?
Yeah, because not only have I have been cross training a lot of strength training and a lot of mileage, and this is not my first trail run. I've done both.
Yeah.
West Coast and East Coast mountain trail runs.
Yeah.
So I knew. I mean, you can't know, because every course is going to be different. But I kind of knew the echelon of what this was.
Yeah.
So I was confident in my fitness level, and as long as I did not have a catastrophic injury or some kind of sickness type thing take me out, I was pretty confident.
Yeah.
Tom, you got something
and
else
that's
to
why
say?
Another reason why I took it so conservatively was I just didn't want to fall to the point where I'd take myself out of this and races coming down the pike, because Chicago's in 3 weeks, but also Space Coast is a month after that. So there's just a lot of stuff coming.
Well, two things. One, Space Coast isn't important. There's no reason any of us should go down there.
So just one last note before we wrap this up is I said it last week that Pretzel City puts on the best races, or some of the best races, but Allegheny Trail Runners also put on some of the best races. I just love trail races. I love Allegheny Trail Races. We'll be back again. Benjamin, who actually I think listens to our podcast, was out there. He's a great RD. Ooh. If you get a chance to check him out on his Instagram. And come join us next year, because it sounds like a lot of us are coming back for Rocking the Knob.
Yep.
And Tom's signing up for the half marathon. So.
Yeah.
You guys have fun with that.
Do the half marathon next year. Just come with me and we'll all do the half. No one needs to do the full marathon.
Oh, I love that. You should do that.
I don't know how many 5-star reviews it's going to take me to sign up for that half.
A lot.
It was 5 for a 10K. So what, 10?
Yeah. Let's do it, everyone.
And we got 12. So we'll see.
144. It has to be exponential.
Okay.
I wouldn't say no, but we'll see what happens.
Intriguing, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
I love how I have an automatic out. I'm like, I don't have a knee. So you can do this.
Oh,
the good news is they gave you the medal at the start. So
yeah.
So now we have 2 useless medals.
We still have them technically. Yeah. Oh gosh.
Awesome. Well, I'm so proud of all of you guys. Even if you didn't finish, it was a tough day out there, and you guys did awesome. And I'm proud of you for listening to your bodies. Honestly.
Yep.
Do it more. Yeah. Don't be miserable. I don't understand. Like, a race is miserable enough. Like, don't do it while you're already miserable.
More of a challenge. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. You guys are awesome.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Before we let you go, do you want to plug anything or leave us with any words of wisdom? Put you both on the spot.
I don't think I have anything.
Greg's already been on inside the Runner Studio, but we're going to get Melanie on one next.
Yeah, so you guys can check out my socials at Greg in Orlando. If you only care about running, I have a running Instagram, train slow, race fast. But I should be putting together a YouTube video with all the footage I took from this race. So
I saw some of it today.
Yeah, if you do want to get an idea of what this looks like, just kind of keep your eyes peeled for that. It's going to take me a couple days to put that together and get it uploaded. But yeah, check that out. It'll be on my social media.
So maybe next year I'll come if I don't run. Maybe I'll come and I'll volunteer and get yelled at by Aaron.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You got a year to pick what alcohol you're going to bring.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys.
All right, gang. Do we want to wrap up with something good?
Sure.
Sure.
Who wants to start?
Sure, I'll start. My something good is we had the opportunity this week, which we just chatted with our new friend Melanie, or our old friend Melanie. I'm not really sure what we want to call her. She's just our friend Melanie now. And so my something good is the opportunities this podcast has brought. I don't know. It's kind of exciting because this week I got to meet Melanie and her husband, Jeremy. And next week I'm going to Chicago to meet Anna Runs on Coffee.
Technically, it was last week you went to Chicago.
Okay, last week. Oh, that's right. This episode comes out after I've already met Anna Runs on Coffee, who's picking me up at the airport as long as she forgets that I gave her oatmeal raisin cookies.
What if she's a serial killer?
I know. And Leah Miller.
This could be a long con. Didn't you just watch Clickbait?
It's the long con.
So this past weekend I ran Chicago Half Marathon with Susanna, Leah, and Anna. I don't know. I'll update you the next time I talk to you guys. Anyway, my something good though is just the world allowing me to meet this podcast, allowing me to meet new friends, and it's kind of fun. I like it.
I love that.
It's really weird being on the other side of it too, right? Because we used to do these meetups. That's how we met you. And we meet the voices on the other side. So it's kind of odd to be on the other side of that now.
It is funny when me and Kate were driving to Rock the Knob, we were talking about everything and then anything and everything. And she was like, "How did you all meet?" And then I recapped it. I recapped it from the Mickey Milers days, and then Diana met Jen Hall, and then Shenanigans came up, and then Bird in Hand, but you didn't want to hang out with me and Diana. And it's just so weird how all this comes together.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I completely agree with you, Aaron.
Yeah. So fun meeting new people and new friends, and I'm excited about it.
Well, my something good is just as sentimental. Mine is berries and cream TikToks.
I feel bad that I don't get it.
Because I can't stop watching.
So this actually came up at our dinner the other night too, right? Because we were trying to figure out where it originated from. Do you know what remember the commercial that it's from? The mixed berry, the strawberry cream, lifesavers?
Well, it's because Gen Z is discovering all of our millennial advertising. Like I said, I can't wait until they discover the Quiznos hamster things.
Oh,
I know eat Quiznos subs. I know that, but berries and cream, I had no idea. And then Diana,
I don't know it either. Yeah,
I can't stop watching. All I do is send Tom berries and cream.
She almost passes out at a couple of them. It's ridiculous.
The one that they have fused with Never Enough from The Greatest Showman made me laugh so hard. It sent my pink eye into a distress.
Oh my God.
Because my eyes were watering so bad. I had to climb out of bed. I yanked 90 of my fake eyelashes out. Beers and cream
God.
TikTok
Oh,
is
man.
both making my life better and ruining it. I don't think I haven't laughed that hard at anything in so long.
Oh my God. You're so ridiculous.
So just as sentimental.
Oh my God.
So mine's easy. The seasons are changing. Don't let this 90-degree day fool you when we're recording because it's hot outside, but we're getting into the fall. And for me, it is buffalo chicken dip / cranberry ginger ale season. Y'all can have your pumpkin spice.
Interestingly specific.
Cranberry ginger ale.
It's a party in my mouth, and only those two are invited.
Cranberry and ginger ale?
Do you
Cranberry
do
ginger
it
ale
at
is
the
so
same
good.
time? Like buffalo chicken dip and then a swig of cranberry ginger ale?
One washes down the other.
Oh, those are some interesting flavor combinations going on there.
It's a dream team.
Oh, God. The buffalo chicken dip today was very good, though. I will give you that.
Thank you.
I didn't know
I'm
we
very
had cranberry
specific
ginger ale in the
about-
house.
We don't. I almost bought it.
Do you make your own buffalo chicken dip?
Yep.
Because I'm kind of picky about my buffalo chicken dip.
Sometimes it's hit or miss.
Yeah, I've had some real misses.
I go right off of the Frank's Red Hot
Okay.
bottle. I do that recipe. So
Okay.
yeah.
Nestle Toolhouse.
Nisley Toulouse.
Oh my God. Something?
Yeah. So my something good is very simple. It's from this weekend, and it's trail racing.
What?
And I think Tom, now that he's experienced a trail race, can speak to this. The community around running races in general is pretty good, but there's something different about trail racing and the after events and the before events and how people get together at them and just the way
Well, I think
the community
it's a little bit more like not
It's a
that
smaller
road racing.
community.
Yeah, not that road racing doesn't have a really good community, but like when you get together at a trail race, everyone wants to talk to everyone, which I think is the part that's kind of shocking about this something good for Michael because he doesn't normally like to talk to people.
Yes.
But at the end of the race, while we were waiting for Greg to come in, right, we chatted with a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, lovely.
You know, people who were waiting for their significant others to come in and finish and just watching everyone cheer and everything. I think that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, just the
that
general camaraderie and, there are the people at the front who race or whatever, but a lot of times it's just people pushing each other
Yeah.
to
That's
finish,
awesome.
helping each other finish. And,
Which I'm sure Greg recapped
Yeah.
how he finished
and,
with someone.
things like that just, really being there for each other, even during the worst parts of the race where it probably you don't get it as much in road races because you don't go through the same ups and downs that you do in a difficult race. I think is probably where it comes from.
Yeah, not as often. Because I know, today, I didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah, well, it's not like you're all of a sudden stuck on a hill with somebody for 45 minutes.
No.
And, yeah.
No.
I mean, I feel like
commiserating.
Tom
so-
and Kate probably bonded a lot during their
Probably, yeah,
commiserating, right?
Oh, we absolutely did. I agree. It's and not in a bad way, not negative at all. It is a different breed of
It's
person
different.
that runs those trails. Like it's a different kind of commitment. Not taking anything away from anybody that runs any other distances by any
it's
means.
totally different.
But
that's all,
it is different. It is definitely different. Well, thank you everyone who sent in your goal getters and the reviews. And, the best thing you could do for this podcast is continue to share it with friends and family and coworkers and enemies and anybody that'll listen. Follow us on Instagram and all the social media. We love that. Please continue to interact with us. Like if you're listening but you don't really interact with us, we'd love to get to know you because we've gotten to know a lot of great people.
Yeah, like Greg and Melanie, who are on this episode.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So this is Tom for Aaron, Michael, and Diana. And specifically because I just spent a lot of time in the woods, I'm going to leave us with a Robert Frost quote. It's simple.
Don't understand
It's simple.
why this happens.
Robert Frost reminds us that the best way out is always through. Goodbye.